Oh, we didn't do a lead in this time. We kind of lame, but it's all.
Oh,
Welcome to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers. Let's go ahead and get started. I am your host, Alan Pettigrew Jr. Go ahead and let my friends introduce themselves.
I'm Calvin McGowan. Good to be here as always.
I ain't your friend. My name's Philip Dixon, aka Young Talkies.
Oh, that's awful.
I don't even like Talkies. It's crazy thing about it though. But
I don't think I've ever had a taco.
more of a hot fries guy.
Yeah, I could rock with you on hot fries.
You know why? Because you're black. That's why you don't mess with Talkies. You're not Latino.
Not
We
supposed to
asked
mess
for
with
lead.
Takis up here. At least they did at one point. I don't know about now too much.
Yeah. Look, first of all, if I eat a Taki, I feel like I'm gonna get a clogged artery. At least like it's just so much starch and like it just feels unhealthy. You know what I mean? But
All right, y'all.
Yeah.
This is not the hot takes I wanted to talk about.
uh,
Okay. First week of NBA games are in the bag. Let's go ahead and get into the hot takes. I'll start us off. I got a 3-for-1. The Trailblazers. They have to do so much remodeling because their roster is awful. Terry Stotts has to go. And the only reason why Terry Stotts has to go is because you can't get rid of everybody else because they're on long-term contracts. And they might not. After watching the first couple games, I'm not sure if they'll make the playoffs. I don't know how you almost lose to James Harden in, I don't even want to say the Rockets. I want to say the Houston basketball team at this point, because that wasn't the Rockets. Like, 7 of their main dudes were not there. It was James Harden and like G League dudes. Like, Jason Tate had a really good game, and he is a legit NBA player, but this is also his like first year in the Blazers had no ability to stop him whatsoever. Like there was no coverage whatsoever. At some point, their offense was really stagnant to the point where they had Melo doing like 2013 actions where he was in the post and they did it like 4 times in a row, and I was like, this is awful. Like
I love that, but if you don't want to, but if you want to win, you won't love that.
well, like, and this is the thing. I really like Melo, and I still think he is a really good NBA player. But that should not be something that happens 4 times in a row when he misses 3 of them in a row. Like you gotta call somebody else's card, and they don't. Like they literally had a lineup in there where it was Melo and like 4 other dudes. And I hope they never play that. I hope they never play those 5 guys at the same time again. If they do, they will have a lot of games where they lose because you lost to James Harden and 4 dudes. Like I don't really remember who was on the roster. Like I was really looking like who's this dude playing? Like if you barely eked out a win, like you had to go to overtime and CJ had to give you 44. To me, that is not a playoff team right now. Like I guess they gotta whip themselves into shape. But if this is what we have to be offered with from the Portland Trailblazers, this does not look good.
It's sad because I like CJ McCollum a lot, and I like Dame Lillard a lot, right? But like you're 100% right, and they're not a playoff team, especially looking at the other teams that were like on the brink last year, and seeing how they've progressed. Because the Mavericks are good, right? Like, granted, are they 50 points over the Clippers? Good, no, but also we'll talk about Paul George later. But they're not better than the Mavericks right now. They're not better than the Kings. It looks like right now. They might be better. They might be equivalent or a little bit better than Memphis, but they're not better than the Pelicans either. And I would say they're probably not better than the Spurs. Like they won't make the playoffs, or they won't make the playoffs unless they make some drastic changes. And I don't even know what kind of drastic changes they can make though. Like
Terry's gotta go. Like
I think it's more than that though. Like
But that's the only thing you can change. That's the only thing you can change. Who you gonna move, Dame?
No, because Dame's contract's too long.
Exactly.
But the CJ Dame thing, you won't win a championship with. Because you won't win a championship with two guards like that unless you're Clay and Steph Curry. Like that's just what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not an experiment. It's like it was like the experiment of Dame and CJ. Like, it's not an experiment. They're both really good basketball players, but I don't like the Portland situation right now. And they're only getting older and older and older. They're not old by any means, but they're just getting older and older and older. You know what I mean? But looking at the West and how it is, I 100% agree with you. I don't see them making the playoffs if they stick to, what they are right now. And honestly, a good pickup would have been Rondo. If they would have got Rondo, I feel like that would have been a really, really strong pickup for them. But now Rondo's in Atlanta with Trae Young and
dropping gems off with Trae Young.
They ain't gonna make no noise for another 5 years. So,
dude, at this point, I have more faith in the Suns than I have in Portland.
Oh, the Suns are fun to watch. I'm sorry. I watched the Suns play somebody, and I was like, first of all, Chris Paul has always been a fun guy to watch. I'm a big Chris Paul fan as like a person, but I'm not a big Chris Paul fan as like a basketball player. But this is like a really good situation for him. And it's just relieving Devin Booker all this pressure. Now, I guarantee going forward, Devin Booker's going to have more highly scoring games than he has so far this season. Yeah. But, you got to take into consideration people are still getting into shape. They only had 2 preseason games. You know what I mean? So, like, it was a shortened training camp. So, you got to take all that into consideration. Except unless you're Paul George, then you get no excuses. I'm going to trinkle Paul George hate in there and here just until we get to the point.
I feel like there's no excuses for the Blazers either. Like this performance, this offense, and I know Terry Stotts he's not the entire problem, but you can't move the entire roster. Like they have no defensive pressure on the wings whatsoever, and that has been their entire problem since they let go of Mo Harkless and Al-Farouq Aminu when they made it to the second round. You need dudes that can defend. I think they're supposed to have Robert Covington. They need him immediately.
But also, can we just say this though? James Harden's good. Like at the end of the day, I don't care how hefty he's looking. I don't care what he's doing on his free time. When he steps in the court, he's nice. Like he's nice.
Here's so like James Harden was not the person cooking them. In that game,
cooking. Granted, I didn't watch the whole game. I didn't watch this game. I got NBA League Pass. I got a lot of games to watch. But from what I saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, from somebody who actually watched the entire game, he looked to me, he was cooking.
He was James Harden. And what I mean by James Harden's always going to give you.
Yeah, you got to do a thing.
I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is that it was just James Harden. It was just James Harden. Like, the Blazers have 2 dudes that can match Harden's production on any given night, and they didn't have anybody else to do anything else. Like you can't even.
Did John Wall play, or is he still out?
Exactly. No, they had 7 players that are like in COVID protocol. So there was no John Wall, there was no DeMarcus Cousins, and it was like there was no Eric Gordon. It was
James Harden cooking. I like that.
It was James Harden, and it's not like James Harden had 50. Like James Harden had a normal James Harden night, but this James Harden night it wasn't so superb that I expected for the Blazers to win this game. You have 7 of your regular dudes not in rotation, 3 of your top 7 dudes not in rotation, and you barely won. You got some explaining to do.
Looking at this, Christian Wood put up 31 in addition to Harden 44. Now, I don't know why. I haven't watched the game.
All I gotta say is Christian Wood is really good. But you also have 2 issues where you let a combined 2 dudes score 75 and you couldn't do nothing to slow either one of them down. You're not throwing no double. I get you can't double team Harden. And Christian Wood he can get you a bucket in like several different ways. But y'all don't got no defensive scheme to slow anybody down. Like there's several like Rockets in double figures. Y'all couldn't do nothing. Their defense is awful. It's always been awful, and I'm not worried about that. But they at least have a high-powered offense. And if the offense looks like this right now, I'm not sure what we're going to be looking at for the rest of the season. And if I have to look at this for the rest of the season, I won't. Talk to me after what would be All-Star break at this point. I know they're not actually having All-Star break, but it's like 3 months into the season.
Wait, they're not having All-Star break?
No. I mean, I think they're having a break, but they're not like the All-Star game. It's not like a weekend.
Of course, it's not going to be All-Star game. Duh. Okay, my bad. Duh.
Yeah, but it's like in the 3-month period where everybody's got their juices back. I still don't like this team so far.
I mean,
and they're going to have to do so much for me to be like.
I mean, this dog, like. But I'm saying, like, look at the other teams around them. The other teams around them look really good, though. And this is early on. So, like, the Pelicans look really good.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram is looking really good. Lonzo, really good.
That role they got Zion in looks really good.
Yeah, they all look really good. And Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe are doing a lot for that team. You know what I mean? And you see that JJ, the Pelicans look. They played the Spurs last night and whooped up on them. The Pelicans are looking really good. The Mavericks, we've seen them. We've also seen Luka get, cooked by LeBron. Like
he's supposed to. Come on.
Once again, I'll repeat this like I repeated it, or like I said last season. Luka Doncic will never be Luka Doncic should be considered in the same light as James Harden because he also can't play defense. Like everyone was like, Luka Doncic is like the best defender, or he's like not the best defender. Here we go. Luka Doncic is like a really good, he's a MVP level basketball player. He's a really good offensive basketball player. But overall, it's not his thing. But no one wants to have that conversation.
Well, I think you can kind of let him slide a little, relatively, just because he's young. This is what, his third year in the league?
He's the best he can do in terms of defense is pull what Steph Curry does, which is just go through the passing lanes, get steals, whatever it is. But he won't do that because he's 6'8". So he has to go up against these other 6'8" people, people of his same stature, and he gets cooked regularly on defense. But no one ever talks about it for whatever reason. But overall, right now this year, they look really, really good, the Mavericks. And then the Spurs look fine. The Spurs are Spurs. They're going to be good. You know what I mean? They're going to be solid. They're going to be at least average or a little above average, whatever. Who was the Suns? Come on now. The Suns are by far, they have a better role play. They have better role players and all that in comparison to the Trailblazers. So and the Kings, De'Aaron Fox is looking really good this year. The Kings, everybody that is in that same plane that you would think of in the Western Conference, excluding the Clippers and the Lakers and the people who are obviously up top. The Blazers are at the bottom of that second tier group. And that second tier group in the West is deep. You know what I mean? So they're really going to be on the brink of, are they going to make the playoffs? I'm not going to make the playoffs. Which they were last year, but it's going to be happening again this year. Sorry, Blazers fans. It's going to be a regular thing.
Yeah. All right, Philip. Hot take. Let's get it.
Oh. The Nets look really good. The Nets look fantastic. The Nets look incredible. But the Nets won't win a championship. And the only reason they won't win a championship is because of Kyrie and KD. Oh, yes. They will get to the point of, will they make it? Oh my gosh, people in Brooklyn, stand up. We have a chance to win, we have a chance to win a championship. But you won't win it for the exact reason you made it there. You won't win it. You won't win it for the same reasons you made it there. Kyrie and Kevin Durant. They're nutcases. They're soft, and when you put him against somebody with the mental fortitude, as for example, LeBron James, or I don't know why I said it like that, LeBron High, like when you put them in a situation where they go against somebody who has like a mentality that is like staggering if you really think about it, like it's ridiculous, like in terms of like a hardening of like a mentality. When you put them against something like that, then it's gonna be like, okay, like who's gonna prevail? And I don't trust, Mr. Sage, and I don't trust burner account. You know what I mean? I don't trust them in situations because even when Kevin Durant was with the Warriors, he was surrounded by people which like Steph Curry, no matter what you say, has like a intense mindset. He might pull his mouth guard out and do goofy dances and all kind of stuff, but he obviously has an intense mindset, especially being in the finals even without Kevin Durant. Same thing with I hate him, but you say the same thing with Draymond Green, and you could say the same thing with Klay Thompson, right? But him by himself, you already saw that his mindset wasn't all the way there when he was at OKC. Kyrie, we already know he's different. He think the world flat, or you know what I mean. So
Can I push back on this particular hot take a little bit?
Please.
Like, because like if we're gonna like if you want to say that you're not gonna get there because of like KD and Kyrie, like I'm not necessarily going to be like you're completely off base because like we've had this conversation. We're kind of just waiting for them to implode, right? For Kyrie to get super selfish and self-centered. That's basically what we're waiting on, right? But like the thing with Kate, like the thing is like yeah, KD is soft, like. He likes a lot of stuff get into his feelings and get him in his feelings that you shouldn't. Like, why should you care what some random on the internet says about you? Like, just turn Twitter off. It's okay. It's okay. But like he he's been to the finals multiple times. He got there before he was at Golden State. Like when he was at Golden State, at least one of those rings he got, he basically made them get the ring. Everyone else looked like they were phoning it in
because he was surrounded with people who had I would say personally superior mindset in terms of competitiveness. That's me personally.
Well, but just like my thing is like, if we're talking mindset, KD's mindset will not be why they don't win, right? They're not going to win because like they're gonna run up on like the Lakers in the finals, or like they're gonna get bullied by like Embiid or something. But like they're not going to lose because like KD can't like hang when like you need him to.
Well, I want to say it's. I'm not saying he's not can't hang. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I don't trust. KD is the most talented scorer that we have watched with our own eyes, right? Like it's not a hot take. It is what it is, right? But even with that being the case, I don't know if I trust his talent to outweigh his insecurities, and I don't in like his. And I don't know if I definitely don't trust Kyrie's to you know what I mean to outweigh his insecurities. So when you have those two type of people leading a basketball team, I'm not sure if I actually if I'm a Brooklyn fan, I'm hyped because we're gonna have a good regular season. But when it comes to crunch time in the playoffs, I am not sure if I trust these two to go up head to head with anybody else who makes it or whose team is good enough to make it that far.
So,
go ahead, Calvin.
So like, I think the difference is like the thing is Kyrie's insecurities are insecurities that will affect like how your team plays basketball, right? Because like if he doesn't want to be like the understudy, he doesn't want to be he's not comfortable being the number two, then like he's going to like try and be the guy, and like he is KD on his team, he's not the guy, he's the number two, which may or may not mean he's the dude closing games, but like if like you need them to win, like if you're trying to get somebody to will them to win, it's not going to be Kyrie, right? But like the Kevin Durant, for all his insecurities, they don't really seem to affect his basketball too much. Like you can get inside his head, like it's been done before. Tony Allen did it, but like it's not the easiest thing to do as far as like in the middle of a basketball game or a
So
series.
before he went with the Warriors, I know I know you gotta go before he went to the Warriors. I know going before he went to the Warriors is like a double-edged sword because one, he was a different person. You know, people grow, you know, change, whatever. But two, it's the only time I can look at to where he was like not necessarily surrounded by people. Well, people who have like the Warriors mindset and the Warrior culture, right? Which is like the win-win, you know, whatever. Especially recently, and he fell victim and left because of the self-esteem reasons with Russell Westbrook. It's essentially that's what it was. Essentially, like Russell Westbrook, what is it in his head? Is it a number two? He's a number one guy, and they said, and Durant was like, no, and they butted heads, and then he dipped out, even though he had that's where he had the best chance to win. So if I have to go back and look at that last time he was in a situation like this, to where Kyrie and Russell Westbrook, and to a degree, have that similar mindset of I'm not a number two, I'm a number one. So KD is in this willingly, yeah, isn't it willingly? But I have to see it work out first for me to go, okay, I'm all in on this, and that's all I'm saying.
Oh, oh no, that's completely understandable. Also, like I feel like one of the things with KD, 'cause I remember reading an article forever ago, like prior to when season started, where like basically his whole thing prior to like going off and like finally getting a ring or whatever was like his thing was like I've been the number two my entire career. Like the number two recruit coming out of high school, the number two overall pick. And like he was tired of being number two, right? And
Oh,
like
I
he's
remember. Okay,
considered
I remember
he's
reading this.
considered
Yeah.
this the second best player in the league. Like he got fed like I'm sure he got fed up with that. It's not I don't think it actually had much to do with Russ necessarily, but like it was more like just KD and where he was at that being having that level of like having that insecurity. But I don't think well I could be wrong, but I don't think Westbrook necessarily exacerbated it. Maybe the talk about their dynamic did, but Westbrook himself, I don't see it. But that's just me.
Yeah. No. I get that. I mean, first of all, I do remember reading that article also. So, but
Mhm.
like, even if it doesn't, I think you could argue that it has affected his game in some way. It might not affect his game in the game, but it's affected. Affected his decision making.
Oh yeah, yeah.
100%. And you can, I guess, you can like you do articles and stuff like that. You can go back to pre NBA about why he's made these decisions, but we all know the stories of NBA players who made their own decisions to go to a certain team, whatever it is, and it didn't work out. "Quote unquote," Paul George, Russell Westbrook, OKC, very very recently ago, right? Like these players make bad decisions for themselves all the time. Kyrie made a bad decision leaving Cleveland. Like like it happens, but I have to really like the whole KD dynamic. The KD Kyrie dynamic is gonna be fine and dandy when every other game you're not playing the best of the NBA every day. Every other game you're playing against, I don't know, no offense, but a Memphis, right? Like you can like they're gonna be really good in the regular season. But I'm really curious, like, what's gonna happen when the playoffs come and you're playing the best of the best every night, 7 game series, whatever it is, um, and you go, and I don't know, and I'm curious. Maybe they all change my mind, but I truly am more focused on. I don't know if they can beat. I don't actually know if they can beat um, the 76ers, honestly. I think that's the team. That's the team. That's the team I'm looking at. Like I don't know if they can beat them. They beat Boston the other day. They beat Boston the other day. Uh, but Boston once again is like one piece, one like player away from like being really really good. But once again, I truly again don't even know if they can beat Milwaukee because Milwaukee's that team where each player knows their role and they're gonna do the role good or great. Every single person. There was no one tripping over the other person because they want to do this role and they want to do that role. When we look at the Nets, we don't even know who's going to close games. Who's the Nets closer?
Like the person
who
that
can
can
get the
just
ball
go
to
get a bucket?
game? Yes.
To me, honestly, if we're just talking about offense, I think you can give the ball to either one. Kyrie has proved in several big moments that he can get it done, especially when there's somebody who is possibly better than him next to it. Like, I'm not saying he's the reason why LeBron got that one ring in Cleveland.
He is.
Where he did hit that shot.
100%. 100% he's that reason. LeBron has another ring because of Kyrie. But the thing is, do I trust the self-esteem of these two dudes to go, your turn this time, my turn next time? I don't know. Especially when you're the best in the world at what you do.
Look, all I gotta say, KD has played in the system, like you said, where there's other guys who are just as good or probably more important than him on that roster. I think he has finally figured out how to manage that, because when he left from Russ and them in 2012, he was 20. I mean, not 2012, but when they went to the finals, he was 24. I think when he left, he was 26. This man is 30. He's had injuries. He's had time to grow. He's had time to figure things out. I do not think those issues will be as big as we think when it comes down to time. But just like you, I'm very excited to see like their first real test, where it's like a heated game, where like it's been like 40 plus games. People are really trying to go at them. I want to see that, because right now their chemistry looks amazing. And my personal hot topics, I think the Nets will have the best offense. They will have the best offense in the NBA this year, and they will also challenge to break the Mavericks' highest offensive rating from last year. I really think they're going to be able to do that. Like, it sucks that Spencer Dinwiddie got hurt, but I think even without him, because you can put Karis LeVert in that same role that Spencer Dinwiddie did, and instead of having 7 guys that can score 20, you only have 6. And it's a partial tear, so I don't exactly know when this man's going to be back. But if he can get back in time for the playoffs, and is even in like half decent shape, like I think we're looking at one of the best offenses that we'll see in the league. Like we got a dude that can average you 30 a game, who's like career average is 27 points, and Kevin Durant. And then we got Kyrie, who I feel like is a 25 point per game dude. And then, like, when you got to worry about Kevin Durant,
well,
I think the ceiling is.
It's a cliche. It's a cliche. Defense wins championships, but it's always true to an extent. Like, it's always true to an extent. Like, even if you want to break it down to one play of LeBron block and Andre Iguodala, it's always the case. You need more than Jarrett Allen to play defense on this team. Like. The team's not going to be good at defense. Oh, Kevin Durant's a good defender. Yeah, he plays good help defense. You're right. And then sometimes he gets dunked on by Terry Rozier. You know what I mean? But like,
that's an open court. Everybody get dunked on.
Yeah.
No. I just wanted to bring it up. It was hilarious to watch. But they're like, they're going to be offensively possibly all-time great. Possibly. But I don't think they play enough defense, especially when you go up against like the Lakers and like you got LeBron and you got like AD. You need to play some kind of defense. They won't. You know what I mean? AD being there, AD's presence is automatic defense. It is. Like automatically. Like, and he tries to like play legitimate. Like I think he wants to be like he said he wanted to be Defensive Player of the Year this year. Like that's automatic defense. You know what I mean? And I don't think that they want to play defense, it seems. But offensively, they're going to be fantastic. But once again, they're not probably going to win a championship because you need to have a little more something on the defense than what they have.
Okay. All right. There's another hot take, y'all.
Well, I'll go with one of mine. I think that Ja Morant probably will win the scoring title this year. And like I'm aware that like James Harden still exists, but like he doesn't seem to care. Like in fairness, he doesn't necessarily need to care. He didn't care and still put up 44. But through 2 games right now, Ja Morant is averaging like 36 a game.
Ooh, that's gonna come down.
I mean, we'll see.
It has to. If it doesn't come down, he is.
Well, like here's the thing. Being real, if it doesn't come down, like we're probably not gonna be very good. I think one of the things like Jackson Jr. has been like out hurt or something early. And so, as far as main dudes, it mostly leaves Ja Morant as far as with the bulk of scoring responsibility. So like if he wins the scoring title, we're not gonna do much. We might not have done all that much anyway. Just because, it's a very young team outside of like Valanciunas, I think. And Kyle Anderson, maybe? I don't know how old he is. But like the thing is I think he can keep it up. If for no other reason then like he's just gonna have the ball in his hands enough, he's gonna have enough opportunities. And like he's just very hard to keep from getting to the rim. And he shoots threes well enough.
Okay, so right now, offensive leaders in the NBA for the first 2-3 games where it's been James Harden, 44.
1 game played.
Yeah. Trae Young, 36.5. Ja Morant, 36. CJ McCullough, 33.5. Bradley Beal, 33. Out of all those, you trust Ja Morant to stay at the at a higher level than all of them offensively?
If you don't want to take this one, I'll take it.
No, I'm not trying. I'm curious because I just looked this up just now. I was curious.
I feel like he's, if for no other reason than just because of kind of like he tries constantly, like that he has a good chance anybody's being able to keep it up. Now, he is a separate. It's like if you doubt it, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Right. But like, can he? I think he absolutely can.
I can tell you all the people that you named. They're not even going to break leg. Outside of James Harden, because I think he's going to have to. I think that's just how James Harden's going to play for the rest of his superstar part of his career. But I don't think anybody else is going to break 30 in that list.
Wait,
I have no faith in Bradley Beal being next to Russell Westbrook. It's just really hard. The only person we've ever seen do it is the greatest scorer of all time. That's not Bradley Beal.
That's the greatest scorer we've ever seen.
I say what I said.
Oh,
I'll take that.
I mean, if you want to be technical, like Wilt Chamberlain still exists.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had the most unstoppable move ever, and the leading scorer of all time. And Kevin Durant won't pass that because of his injury.
Well, yeah. My point is just he's got competition. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Look, in his competition is 2 men who are 7'1", and we can all be like, yes, your resumes were crazy. You did absolutely ungodly things. If you can enter that conversation, I'm okay with placing my hat on you as the greatest person of all time. Bradley Beal won't get it because Westbrook's usage is going to go up at some point. You said CJ McCollum?
Yeah.
He's going to come back down to earth, and sadly, earth is 25 points.
I love it how back to earth is 25 points. That's so nuts.
Bro, I'm telling you. Calvin, this is going to be a segue.
All right.
I think CJ McCollum is a top 5 complement player in the league. I don't think there are too many other guys who can come into the game, and when their superstar is having a bad game, do just as well as that player. I don't outside of what we got, KD and Kyrie, if either one of them has a bad game, they can either one of them can go for 30 plus. And then you got AD. And then after that, I kind of find it hard because I think the next compliment player that I can really think about is like Chris Middleton. He can't give you what Giannis gives you. If you're looking at the 76ers between Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, both of them were monsters defensively, but they have their shortcomings in like offensively. I think Joel Embiid can give you what they complement each other so well because they do different things that if one of them isn't there, it's a drastic difference, and we saw that in the playoffs. And then when we're after that, like I don't know who else to have the conversation with. I don't want to talk about Paul George at all. Like he's good, he's useful, really good two-way player.
I said Paul George is just over. I said Paul George is just over a role player. Remember that? Remember that I said that? He's a really good role player. He might be proving me right this year. Just saying.
Look, we were talking about categories a little bit before you came in. He is right on the cusp of star and superstar role player. He teetering. He teetering for me. He teetering. Yeah. He just had those moments where he just kind of go back, but that's not what we're talking about right now. But like, I can't think of anybody else who can give you what your superstar can give you when he's not having a bad game.
I mean, like, I might put Klay Thompson, but he's out, so.
Yeah. But honestly, I'm looking at these leaderboards so far this year, and some of them are pretty nuts. like most of these things are going to be completely different in 2 weeks from now, let alone 4 months. You know what I mean? Because right now, Jimmy Butler's averaging 4 steals a game. That's all I'm saying.
I guess to get to another one of my hot takes, which is a bit more general. I think that all of the teams that were in the bubble for an extended period of time are going to underperform this season. And this was something I admittedly hadn't thought about until I started seeing some of the results from the early game, and it's just like, wait, this team, like, why'd they lose to this trash? Like, but like, what I thought about was like, the thing is like, a lot of them were in the bubble. They were in the bubble for extended periods of time. Most folks didn't just like get swept, and like, or like, the Grizzlies were in like a play-in game in whatever. And like, I think that wear and tear, especially because like it was a shorter turnaround than usual, from playing those series, like grinded out type of games, that like it's going to affect their play this season. Like it might just be, and it's in a way where like they just, I don't know, they're just not gonna have it in them like they would usually. I don't think. Like, they're going to lose games that they shouldn't necessarily, for like no real explainable reason. Dudes aren't going to put up numbers like you expect for no explainable reason, and it's just like they haven't gotten a real rest, because it's like the season ended, you had about a month, and then like there's the draft, and you had another month, and you're back playing games.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And you look no further than the Clippers. Lost by 50. Like, there's no excuse, bro. There's no excuse. Not as an NBA player. You
Oh.
at that point, as a coach, I'd be like, hey, go ahead and just go ahead and get some
When the
like
coach sit down
technical
and you just don't
tools
say
so
nothing
you
you
can get out of
the
here,
game.
bro.
Oh my gosh, man. That's literally when the coach sits down, he don't say nothing to you the rest of the game. He just, oh, y'all can coach yourselves then, and just sits down. Like that. When I
How much
saw
time
that,
blew up
I
when they
thought,
came back from halftime?
dude, I thought I had misread it. I was like, what? Like I wasn't watching the game. I thought I was off my rocker. I was like, this is nuts. But I'm like, one man being out does this to you? Little do we know that man is more the he's saying Kawhi Leonard's the backbone of that team. It's an understatement apparently. Like,
Look, I called it last week, and Calvin, you were so right. Because what? I think we're going to see, especially like the first 2 months, is going to be like a lot of like superstar dudes just playing like 30 minutes a game. Like when we look at like the minute per game, like leaders is going to be like, oh, you sure? Like this is the dude that you playing all these minutes?
Like you already have like folks sitting out. I just browsed what the Nets play the Grizzlies tonight, and like KD and Irving aren't playing.
they aren't.
Like, mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm turning this game off right now. Then I'm watching that game right now. I don't even notice.
I feel like this disrespectful. Would you
it kind of
disrespect?
is. Like it's
Don't do
KD
that.
load managing off of an injury that happened 2 years ago.
Hey, chill out. He just got back in the league, bro.
like, but like I think, and granted, like I think we mentioned a couple podcasts ago about like some new rule the NBA was doing where like you can't rest your players during like national televised games, which means like, but like that means like like smaller market teams are probably like, you probably get is who you're gonna sit out against, and like the Grizzlies don't have that many like nationally televised games, even when they're good. So like
Bro.
that's who you're gonna sit your dudes out against. It's just kind of a thing.
The numbers Karis LeVert and Ja Morant are about to put up are going to be ridiculous. Hopefully. Because that would make this game watchable. Philip, you might want to turn that game back on, bro. They
It'll
about
probably
to
be
go crazy.
entertaining.
Nah, I'm good. What can I say? Like I like John Morant, but I'm not gonna lie to you, man. He give me Derrick Rose vibes. Like I'm just like, is he going by working so hard and being so agile? I'm just like I'm just frightened to watch this man play. He's like a crash test done. He's like a crash test dummy that's not built like Russell Westbrook.
I think he's been trying to fix that, but like I understand. I've heard that a lot. Like the way like he just throws himself at like the rim worries a lot of
I'm
people.
like, dog, you don't gotta do that, man. like finesse your game, dog.
Man, that's what got him there. Nah,
But
bro.
yeah,
Go ahead.
like,
Keep crashing, big dog.
Got you there, man. You better change it up though. You hitting grown men.
it's still working.
Shoot, for now, it worked for Derrick Rose for about 4 or 5 years, didn't it? To that one time, little one
Fairness,
time
I don't think
he did.
like I feel like most dudes' knees aren't whatever Derrick Rose had going on.
But also, Derrick Rose is still nice, so no Derrick Rose
Yeah.
slander here. So
Oh, this isn't slander.
Oh,
It's just
no,
it's just
I know it's not
He's still
slander.
nice.
like
He's not the same.
I know it's
yeah.
not slander, but I'm just letting all the listeners know that Derrick Rose is still nice, so no slander on here. This ain't the place.
Hey, if we say Derrick Rose slander, we'll get more views, right? Way more views.
Man, that's like me being that's like me wanting to get more views by putting on a Make America Great Again hat. Like I ain't doing that stuff. I don't believe in none of that. Oh, I don't care about the views.
It's not that bad now.
Oh, it's that bad. Derrick Rose a legend. You heard Jabari Parker's speech on him at that press conference? He a legend to me.
He did sound like he'll fight you for that over Derrick Rose, bro. Like,
he said, I don't like your question. I don't like your question. Derrick Rose a legend to me. I was like, oh, this man must have paid your college. This man must have paid your Simeon tuition.
Same jersey, yeah. Shoot, is that the last one? We got some more hot takes.
I mean, one of mine was that I think Wiseman will win Rookie of the Year, and like I say that because like as we mentioned, the Warriors are not good right now. They're not even mediocre, right? And our assumption that he couldn't was off a couple. I feel like a couple of assumptions that like we just kind of had baked into our thought process. One, for whatever reason, I feel like we included Clay in the thought process. We also assumed that like Wiggins would play well. Like I feel like that was I feel like that was a built-in assumption, an understandable one, because like he can give you 20 a game. That's not that unreasonable for him. But he's been bad early. Like just like he's like and like granted I've just checked box scores and like, Wiggins he was like, oh about 20. Like he had 13, like, huh? That's all? Like Draymond is hurt. That basically leaves Curry as like your only real hope, right? And like Wiseman's game would play well off of Curry and Klay Thompson. Basically, the entire reason why them drafting him made entirely too much sense, right? And so, like, there's no reason why he can't just put up numbers now, unless like Curry just takes all of the shots, and even then, he can probably just live off the rebound.
Yeah. Hey, I agree with you because I think Anthony Edwards is probably going to sneak up there at some point, but I think Wiseman's going to have all the opportunity in the world, and he looks outside of having that ugly ass old man shot he got there.
I saw a tweet that said that your picture said, "Hey, yo, nephew, let me get a shot." I cried, dog. I was like, "Oh my gosh."
It's so weird, but I weirdly expect that from someone that big. Like I expect your jump shot to be kind of funky, but
how does DeAndre Jordan's jump shot look better than yours? It's not better, but how does it look better?
Hey, if you can shoot it at like at least 33%, go ahead, have you fun. But like he looks really good. Like I didn't expect like the coast to coast from him. He should stop that as soon as possible, or at least like give up the ball before he gets to half court, because he is not a good decision maker yet. And it is very fun to watch. He gets to the paint.
Not a good decision maker.
No, in that first game, he had like 2 moments where he like got the rebound. I was like, oh, you about to pass it? And he just started dribbling. I was like, oh, this is new. And then he got to like the free throw line and just kind of muffed it. It just went out of bounds. So I was like, yeah, you got to get that up, big guy. Like it looks fun. Like you're gonna get it eventually. Probably by like year 3, that's gonna be like a really scary thing. But today, you just dunked the ball, okay? Go ahead and get your buckets that way.
I mean, look, I think he is going to win Rookie of the Year for the same reasons that we kind of initially thought before whatever that first game was, that LaMelo was going to win Rookie of the Year. And it's just because, like, he's essentially by himself. Now, he's not by himself because he has Steph Curry, but he plays so much wildly different than Steph Curry that it's kind of like he's alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to just get the rebounds and just putbacks, dunks, whatever. But also, they're going to be bad. So we all remember Steph Curry on the come up. Like, before KD, before the championships, in like 2013-ish, around then, right?
Yeah.
Klay Thompson made a big difference for that team, dog. Like that is, like, at this point and continuing forward, especially seeing how the outcomes of most of the games become, we can't downplay that. Klay Thompson, because when Steph Curry was scoring 50 in the guard and all kind of stuff, there's always, anytime Steph Curry has had true success, there has always been one common factor: Klay Thompson. Like, I always thought he was the best player on the team just because he was a two-way player, but now I'm like, dude, you over here the glue. Forget Draymond, because Draymond. People said Draymond was the glue. No. It's Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson made that team.
Okay. All I have to say is I completely agree with you on that. Two things. I personally, this is gonna be a hot take. I'm okay with it. I do not think Steph Curry can, by him lonesome, carry you to
The playoffs.
any seed in the playoffs.
I like that. I like
Any
that.
seed,
Ooh, I love
any
it.
seed in the playoffs. I think he'll scratch at 8, but I don't think he actually gets you there. And I do not know how much better this team is going to look when Draymond comes back. Because right now, this team does not look like a playoff team. They look like they're maybe 10 to 15 wins
Better than
better
Portland,
than
or
they
not? Better or worse than Portland?
it's
Gotta think about it. That sucks.
it's it's close enough where I don't want to have the discussion until like a few more games. Because the Warriors have the players to actually do something. They just don't look good right now. I do not think that outside of Dame and CJ that the Blazers have much of anything. Um, but if your best player, like the sole person that's supposed to get it done, is Steph Curry, I think this is not going to end well for you because they can kind of guard Steph now, like they've been guarding Dame, where they just kind of throw two guys at him. Because it's like, who's going to do anything?
That's
You couldn't
true.
do that. You couldn't do that with Klay Thompson. You can't leave Klay Thompson alone. That gives Curry all the range to go ahead and do all that crazy stuff he can do. Not with two people on him. He's not doing that. He looked different.
We always talked about how Klay Thompson stretched the floor or helped stretch the floor for the team. But we usually talked about it in terms of everybody else. So it gives Draymond Green room to maneuver. It gives, whatever random big man they toss in there room to maneuver. It gave Kevin Durant room to maneuver, all that kind of stuff in the paint. But it also gave Steph Curry room to maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of didn't think about that until just now.
Like,
Klay Thompson's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
I'm telling you, that is the greatest. That is one of the greatest X factors I've ever seen on the NBA court. Like, you changed the dynamic that much. Like, he changed it in. I forgot who got injured first. Klay or KD?
KD.
Okay. So their offense was already looking kind of weird without.
Like, even one, but they won before KD got there. Klay Thompson won 2 rings. Steph didn't. I'm saying it.
I ain't gonna let you get away with that.
That's Klay Thompson's team. That's Klay Thompson's team. Klay Thompson ran that team. Got 3 championships, whatever it is.
Yeah. But without Klay Thompson, the second best player on that team, definitely looks like the dude that's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Which is not a good look.
It's not at all. This is I, as a person who did not like the Warriors for that 3-year stretch, I wanted this to happen, but now that it's happening, I am disgusted. It doesn't feel right. Like, I wanted them to get beat. Like, I wanted them to be full strength. I wanted them to try, and somebody just be like, no, this is my stuff now. And instead, we just get to see them be like the JV Warriors. Like, this doesn't make me happy. Like
I think the thing is, it's kind of like, I think part of that is like that competitor, right? It's like I don't like you, but like, I don't want to see something bad happen to you. I just want to beat you fair and square. I want somebody to come through and just be better than you. I don't want like your best player to like get multiple season injuries. Like, I just want to beat you.
Yeah, I want to be the person that crushes your spirit. I don't want you to do it. That's not fun. That's not fair.
I want to destroy you. I don't want you to hit self-destruct.
It reminds me of Pokemon, bro.
When
When Voltorb come through, just self-destruct. I'm like,
yeah, trash move.
So stupid.
Yeah, I remember. Is that it though?
Yeah, that's it.
Only other thing I got is Gonzaga beat Virginia on Saturday.
Hey, I don't know why they just keep throwing the top teams at Gonzaga. They should stop. They already won. That is the barring injury. That is the national championship. And when I say barring injury, I truly think injuries to their top two players will be the only thing that can slow them down. Like two of their top starters have to get hurt.
I think actually, now I think about it, as far as like Gonzaga and just wanting to play the best team, the various situations you run into with COVID and scheduling was probably actually pretty good for them. Because they probably got some teams they wouldn't who probably would hesitate to schedule them otherwise, right? And like also just like a wild opportunity where like we can just play top teams like the entire non-conference, and like Mark Hughes not going to say no to that. Like he's like how you need to be. Like I want to play everybody, and like hey yo we got an opening. Yes, we'll be there at noon.
Hey, bro, that's like having the elite pickup team just come through and just smash everybody. And be like, hey, this isn't fair. Like y'all not playing by the same rules, bro.
And like I think I saw something they've beaten these like ranked teams by an average of like 12 points. Like they haven't embarrassed them, but like it hasn't been super competitive. To look at the final scores anyway.
That's the NCAA championship. That's the NCAA champions. I don't really need to see March. Like I'm not wasting my time.
And like with conference starting up, they have a good chance of going undefeated because it's just like who's gonna stop them in conference? In fairness, though, also like if there's one team who's gonna be able to pull off the one win that nobody else could do, it's gonna be somebody in your conference. But like outside of some wildness like that, and I think based on the numbers, it'd probably be VCU just because like they just have a better record against them than anybody else, but that's not the highest bar to clear.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh no. Somebody gonna have to do a hell of a coaching job to win that game because I don't think there's another group of talent that's gonna be able to touch them boys.
Touch them boys.
That makes complete sense.
Too hard. Because I heard it, I was like, I'm gonna just keep it moving.
He said, "No, keep it moving." That was ridiculous, man.
But yeah, man, I think that's it.
Oh, I just want to throw in that apparently Rui Hashimura has a very strange injury history and is currently out with a bad case of pink eye.
Pink eye?
More or less.
Booty hole. Is that how you get pink eye?
Bro, I thought it was the part in the pillow thing. At least that's what they said in middle school. I haven't looked further into that. That's good enough for me.
I obviously have not either. I don't actually know how you get. That's like only way. I don't know how you actually get pink eye. I guess.
I don't know, but yeah, he hasn't played he hasn't like played the games in the actual season so far. He's out with pink eye, and like it's kind of serious. So he's probably going to be out for a little bit because like it's hard to play basketball if you can barely see.
Shoot, forget COVID. You got pink eye. You ain't coming near me. Like that's gross. I like how I also like how it's almost 2021, and we all just go, how you get it? I don't know, and just kept on going, even though we have computers in our hands right now. Like we can easily just look it up.
There's certain things I just don't want to know how you get it. Like whatever I'm doing in my life, I've been doing this so well where I've never gotten pink eye, so I'm gonna just keep doing that.
Facts. If I don't need to know how to get pink, like at this moment, I've never needed to know how you got pink eye, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
you're 100% right.
As far as I'm concerned, the way they showed on Kids Next Door, that's how you get it. Some nurse just scoops the crap out of some other kid's eye and puts it in yours, and that's how you get pink eye.
That's how. Do you remember the episode of the Bernie Mac show when Jordan got pink eye? Do you remember that episode? It was disgusting, but like it was from like sharing things. So I know how it like goes around from sharing, but I don't know how you like initially get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to too. Just like you said. I don't even know that.
How dare you sharing during COVID?
That's ignorant. Oh, you're true. That's very ignorant in the first place. Yeah. he doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. That's what it is. He didn't kill me,
Like
but he
you were
did
saying
get kicked out.
earlier. That's funny. All right, let's go ahead and sign out on this way. Welcome to. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Traveling Hoopers. I am your host, Alan Pettigrew, signing off. Go ahead and follow us on social media at Traveling Hoopers on Twitter and Instagram. All right, I can go ahead and sign off.
Once again, Kyle McGowan, and just to add on a little bit to this, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, all that. And listen to us wherever you listen, and you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Yeah.
Dang, I gotta have a thing. Yeah, and dang, I got nothing. Keep listening.
That
Bro, you
works.
could shout yourself out and be selfish. Show the people why you haven't gotten pink eye.
Shout out to the world for not allowing me to get pink eye yet. Shout out to all the clean people that I hang around, because y'all don't have pink eye to give me pink eye. And then shout out to all the, Conan Kid Next Door and Bernie Mac show and things like that expose pink eye for the nasty thing it is to the youth of America.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Stop sharing.